Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss one more famous interview question that is asked in most of the companies. So in today's video, I will be discussing the question that is asked in one of the top consulting company. You may be knowing what are the top consulting company. The big four consulting companies are PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, and EY. So this question was asked in one of the top consulting companies itself. I have created a complete playlist in which I have added a lot of interview questions that is asked most frequently by most of the organization. So among them, the most important that I've created is for Deloitte. So this I will continue for the PwC complete interview as well. So let's get started with the first question that is asked in the PwC interviews, and this question can be asked to any experience level. It could be from 0 to 4, could be 4 to 8, could be 8 to 12. So nowadays these questions are also asked in 8 to 12 years of experience. So you can go ahead and make sure your concepts are very clear regarding this question and how you are approaching it. It's a very simple question, but you need to know some fundamentals in order to answer this question. So let's begin with what exactly is the question and how exactly you can go ahead and solve this question. So the question here says there are two tables, table 1 and table 2. So table 1 has column ID and table 2 also has a column ID. Table 1 column has ID which has the values like this. So if you will see, there are 3 ones, 2 zeros and 2 nulls. And table 2 has 2 1 and 1 0 and 1 null. So what is the question it's asking? It's asking how many number of records it will give you if you do an inner join, and how many number of records you will get if you do a left join, how many number of records you will get if you do a right join, and how many number of records you will get if you do an outer join. So how exactly will you be solving this problem? So if you will see, there are total 3 1 and here there are 2 ones, and here there is 2 0 and here there is 1 0, and there are 2 null and here it is 1 null. So how exactly it will show is like this. I'll show you. So this ID1 will map to this ID1. Okay. Now this ID1 will also map to this ID1. Now this ID1, how it will be mapped? It will be mapped to this ID1 basically. And again, you have one more. So each ID will be mapped to one ID that you have. So this ID will be mapped to this. Now, if you will see, this ID is mapped to this already. So this will be mapped to this ID. And the last ID again will be mapped like from here to here. So it means every ID of 1 will be mapped to ID 1. So 1 join 1 will be giving you 1 result. Then 1 here join will 1. It will give you another result. This one will join with this one. You will get 1 more result. So all this 3 will be joining with this one. So how many you get? 3. Now all this 3 1 will be joining with this one. So how many you get? 3. So how many are there here? It's 3 plus 3 is 6 for 1. Now this 0 value you will be getting, and you will be mapping this 0 value with this. And similarly, you have another 0 which will be mapped. So here it will map from 0 to 0. So if you will see, now 0 is mapped to 0 and this 0 is mapped to 0 as well. So how many zeros it will have after inner join? It is 2. Now let's see with the null. So in case when you are doing joins, null is actually not equal to null. This is not true. This null equal to null is not true. This is false. So what it will happen is this null will not be mapped to this null, and this null will also not be mapped to this null. So how many number of rows or records you will get? You will get this 3, which is for this one, and you will get another 3 for this. So there are total 6 for 1 and 2 for 0. So how will you write it? Let's say it is 3, and in the first table, and in the second table it's 2. 2 times it's 1. So it's 3 into 2, which is equal to 6. And for digit 1, it's how many? 2 in the left table, and in the right table it's 1. So how many are there? 2 into 1 is equal to 2. So how many it comes? 6 plus 2, it is 8. Okay. Now if I come across with the left join, so if you will see, this will be mapped to this one will be mapped to this one will be mapped to this again. So every one of left table will be mapped to every element of right table of 1. So it will be the same. So this will be mapped twice with this table, this will be mapped twice with this table, and this will be mapped twice with this table. So there will be total 6 ones. For 0, 0 is mapped to 0, so it means here it is 1 and here it is 1. 0 is mapped to 0. So how many are there for zeros? It's 2 into 1. So let's talk about the left. So here if you will see, null is there, which is mapped to null, right? And this null will be mapped to null. But in this case, this joining will not occur. So there is only one more element here. These are 2 more elements that will be there. So the reason is, what is left join? Left join is you have to get all the elements of the left table along with the join operation that you get from the left and the right table. So this is done, but this null is not equal to this null. However, you have to include both the null values. So you have, this comes to 8 and this comes 9 and 10. So how many records are there? Total 10 number of records. For right join, this remains same because these 3 1 will be mapped to these 2 1. So how many you get? 6. And these 2 0 will be mapped to this 0. So how many you get? 2. Now let's see how many are remaining in the right table. You have one more remaining in the right table, that is this null value. So how many you get? This is 8, and then you have one more null value, which is 9. Now let's talk about the outer join. In the outer join, you map every, so this 6 and 2 will remain fixed. However, these are 3 and this is 1. So you have this null equal to null, not equal to null, but still you have here 6 elements and you have here 7, 8, and then sorry, here you have 6 and 2, that is 8, and then you have this 9, 10, and this is 11. So total number of elements that you get is 11. So this will be your result data set for the number of records for inner join, left join, right join, and outer join. Let's go to the practical and see how exactly you can go ahead and code it and give you the result. So what I have done is, in this I have created a notebook of Databricks in which I can go ahead and code and show it to you. I will be doing this in PySpark. You can also do it in Spark SQL or SQL, whichever is preferable for you. So I have attached the cluster already, and I have imported some sessions, and I have imported the struct type, struct field, and integer type. So let me go ahead and so if you will see, I have created a schema which is having ID and the integer type, and I have created 2 data frames, data frame 1 and data frame 2, and I have this value. So I am creating 2 data frame, table 1 and table 2, using the create data frame method. If you don't know how to create data frame, I would highly recommend you to go ahead and watch my previous video in which I have explained you how to create a data frame with the help of the schema as well. So let me go ahead and do one thing. Instead of the data frame, let me go ahead and create a SQL table, okay, that I can use a SQL command directly. So this is my table 1 dot How will you do it? You can use a create or replace temp view, in which you can go ahead and name the table 1. This is my table 1 and table 2. So if I execute this, it's going to execute the command and create the data frame into a table like a temp view, not exactly a table but temp view. So what is the difference between a table and a temp view? If you want to know that, then please provide it in the comment section. I will create a separate video on that and I will put it in the Databricks playlist that you can go ahead and watch. So I have my both the tables ready. So let me go ahead and select it and show it to you. I'll create a SQL command first. Again, this is a magic command. If you don't know, please watch my video in which I mentioned about the magic commands, how you can go ahead and toggle between SQL and Python. So I'll just do a select star from table 1. Okay, so it will give you the table 1 data. Now I will create a table 2 data. So this is my table 1, which is having two null values, but it's showing me 1 here. So let me see if I have 2 null values or 1 null value here. I see I have put only 1 null value. So let me go ahead and recreate this with another null value. Because if you remember that I have created in this, I have created 2 null values, right? So let me go ahead and create this up. I'll recreate my table 1 again, table 2, and let me select this. So now you see there are 2 null values. I have selected the table 2 as well, in which I have 2 ones and 1 0 with 1 null value. Okay. So now let me do a join operation. So how will I do it? Let me first go ahead and select this as a SQL command and do a select star from table 1 and then join table 2 on what? You have to provide an on condition, right? So on table 1.id equal to table 2.id. So this is my inner join. So how many number of records you will get? It will show you. So it's executing right now and it will give you all the result. So how many you get here? It is 8 number of records. As I mentioned, it will not give you any null value, but 0 will be mapped 0, right? In the left table you had 2 zeros, in the right table you had 1 0. So every element of left was mapped to every element of right and it gave you 2 zeros. And how many 1 you had? It had 3 in the left side and 2 on the right side. So every element of 3 was mapped to every element of the right. So how many number of records here are? See, we already discussed it was 8 number of records. Now let me do a same thing for the left join. Select star from the table 1 and then let's say I will do a left join to show you table 2 on what? So again I will do table 1 dot id equal to table 2 dot id and let me go ahead and give you the result data set. Then I will go ahead and show you how much number of records are there. So you see how many are there? There are total 10 records. How? This 1 and 0 remains fixed as we did it for inner join. 3 times of 2 because 3 were there in the left table and 1 were there in the right table, and 2 types of 1, that is 2 zeros were there on the left and 1 0 was there on the right. However, there were null values also in the left table, 2 nulls. So it has given you null value also in case of left join. So let me go ahead and run this in the right table. Okay. So how you do it? You just mention the right instead of the left and let me give you the result data set here. So now what does it say? it has 1 is fixed, that is 6 number of ones and 2 number of zeros. However, there is one null value. Why there is one null value? Because in the right table there was one null. If you will see in the right, how many null was there? It's just the one null value. So therefore it give you the result 9. So total number of records are 9. So now let me do an outer join. So outer join is also called as full outer join. So you can mention anything. If you will see, I have mentioned out. It gives you outer as the keyword and full outer as the keyword. So you can use any keyword to go ahead and run this command for joining the full outer and this. So it gives you an error message. Let me see what exactly is the error message. Okay, so it seems in the Databricks outer join, it doesn't accept in the SQL command. So I have to put the full as the keyword in order to do a full outer join. So let's see how many number of records are there. So there were 2 zeros in the left, 1 0 on the right. So this is 2 number of records and this is 6 number of 1 records. But there are 3 null values. How there are 3 null values? There were 2 in the left side and 1 in the right side. So if you will see, there were 2 in the left side and 1 in the right side. So what it will do is it will give you these 2 null values from table 1, and from this particular table it will give you 1 null value. So there are total 11 number of records. If you will see, there are total 11 number of records it has given you. So this is a very, very important question. Try it with the PySpark also. It's very easy. I can show you how you can write it in PySpark. So let me tell you one very easy way to do it. If you are very familiar with SQL, you can do a spark.sql. You can put your command inside the spark.sql. So in that case, what it will do is it is going to go ahead and give you the result data set. So in this spark.sql, if you do a collect operation, it's going to collect and give you the result of all the data set. See, it has in this particular list, it will give you the result data set. So instead of the collect also, you can do a show operation and it will go ahead and do a show. I will not do it. You can go ahead and try it. Basically what I mean is you can go ahead and use a SQL command inside the spark.sql and it will give you the result. If you want to run the same command in PySpark, how will you do it? So let me go ahead and create a data frame. So for that, I have a table 1 data frame, right? So from which I created the table, the temp view basically. So I'll use this table data frame, table 1 dot join table 2. Okay. Now what I want to do, I want to go ahead and join them on what? I want to join it on the basis of ID. Now, how I want to join? I will mention I want to join it on the basis of inner. So let me go ahead and run and see if in case there's any syntax error, we will go ahead and fix them. So there it says there is a syntax error here. So let me do it in this way. Instead of this, I'll just mention the ID and I mentioned table 1 here. So let's correct that to go ahead and do a table 2. So here it says there are 2 zeros and there are 6 ones. So how many are there? There are total 6 records. Here it gives you the result and doesn't give you how many number of records are there. So what you can do is you can do a df.count and you can store it inside a result data frame, and then you can go ahead and show that result data frame dot show, and it will give you the result data set. So if you will see here, it doesn't show me this in show result data frame. So let me go ahead and run it in this way. So here it gives you the output 8. That is my result data frame. So now you know how exactly you go ahead and do it in the Spark SQL as well, along with the SQL query, and you also now know how to do it in the data frame method that is using the PySpark, right? So this is a very, very famous interview question that is actually asked in interview on most of the interview question. Like if you are in a preliminary round or in second round, could be third round, in any round, just to understand if you know the concepts of different types of joins like left join, right join, full outer join, and if you know if the null and the null can combine each other and on the joining criteria. So I hope you have understood this, and I hope you will able to answer this particular question in your interview without any mistakes. And if you want to know more interview question, then I will highly recommend you to go ahead and watch the videos that I have created in this playlist, in which I've started with beginning to advanced interview question, and I will keep on adding this so that you are aware of what all interview questions are getting asked these days in the interview and in the market, what exactly interview questions are trending. So I hope you have liked this video. So if you have liked this video, then definitely hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.